up, guys? Yeah, I got another beer review coming at you. This one is the third of the Perrin Brewing Company's Problems IPA series. This is their heftiest one, the Lotsa Problems Double IPA, or Imperial India Pale Ale. And yeah, we're just gonna see how this goes. The lighter version, you can see the full reviews. I've already put them out there on the channel. The lighter version, I was a little on. I liked the middle one a little more, and we'll see if this one is just right. The color has progressively gotten more golden in color, kind of an autumn orange kind of thing going on. So not cloudy. You can still see, I mean, you can't really see directly through it, but you know, it's not foggy or cloudy or anything like that. So according to Perrin, it is our double IPA was crafted with American hops and a perfect balance of malty goodness. That's what they got going on there. So it is 8.5% ABV. They don't tell you the IBUs at all. I do find that it's a little... I do enjoy those. I like numbers like that. So if we're getting into certain IPAs, I don't mind that kind of a number to be included. But anyways, let's get into the review. Get into the smell. A very pungent pine aroma. Again, it's got the grapefruit notes to it. I'm assuming, like the other two, it kind of uses that Chinook hop, which, you know, is from I believe that's Pacific Northwest, and it has, and whenever you use that kind of hop, it's going to have that kind of piney, grapefruity kind of thing. And since it's all, I'm assuming all three of these Problem IPAs from Perrin use pretty much a similar base. A bit of a pepperiness to it. There's also kind of a floral aspect to it as well. Once you kind of cut through the haze of that pine, there is kind of a deep floral arrangement going on. I'm not sure what kind of flower exactly, but it's definitely kind of something deeper. Not light and sweet like, you know, if you walk into the grocery store and you got all the flowers in there. Nothing like that, but yes, we got that, the pine, some grapefruit. The grapefruit is not as present in this one, but it's still there. You got that kind of peppery thing going on, and then just kind of a floral bouquet. I think it smells pretty legit. I'm enjoying the aroma, so I'm going to recommend on that. Now let's get into the taste. The hoppiness is surprisingly a little subdued. It's not as impactful as I was thinking it was going to be. The maltiness definitely kind of like strangles that in. You get that initial kind of almost tart pine. You know, I think, you know, part of the like that grapefruit rind taste mixed with the pine. That's the first thing you get, but it's not allowed to go anywhere real quickly. The malt is definitely just kind of takes over the beer, and I think that's probably where some of the pepperiness comes from. But trying to think what the actual malt taste is. It's very so the lingering taste is, it's very much like a grapefruit rind kind of thing. It's got that kind of that real like dry tartiness that you might get if you just ate a piece of grapefruit for breakfast or something. There is and like a grapefruit that's starting to go a little south. You know what I mean? Trying to think what is the malt is very, but it's also kind of refined. It's not like super rough around the edges. Okay, the more I'm drinking it, the more I'm getting like a very concentrated grapefruit. Almost like, those like condensed concentrate things you get for like lemonade in the freezer section. You kind of pull the plastic thing off, and it's almost like there's a concentrate for grapefruit juice. And so it's super strong, and that you took a scoop out of that. That's kind of the concentration of grapefruit that I'm getting, and that's becoming more and more prevalent. The maltiness is kind of more of an earthiness to it. It doesn't really taste burnt. There's not a lot of I'm trying to. There is definitely like a subtle struggling to put my finger on it. Maybe like a charcoaly almond kind of thing. That's and like earthy, very earthy. So you're getting some of that, the earth dirt kind of taste into the grapefruit. Maybe the maltiness isn't as pronounced as I thought it was going to be with the first drink. I think it's I think it was just the concentrated grapefruit that was kind of. I was thinking initially that it was a malt, but it's more concentrated, bittery grapefruit. So I think it's almost more concentrated grapefruit, less pine. There does seem to be a bit of an earthiness to it on the back end. Kind of a charcoaly, maybe toasted almond. It doesn't have burn. It's not the malt isn't as the malt's not super crazy. So kind of forget that I said that at the beginning. But I think it does put a nice enough cap on that concentrated grapefruit aspect to it. It doesn't let it get too out of control. So that's good. So, I mean, yeah, it's not bad. I think if you're into double IPAs, I think you'll like this. It's, I think it's got that kind of flavor you might be looking for. But I'm just kind of guessing. I'll say, straight off the bat, the double IPA isn't exactly my cup of tea. There's a certain level of bitterness that I like to, kind of like zone in on. Anything above it, for me, is a little too bitter. It's not my cup of tea. But I can see people that are into the double IPAs. I think you might like it. I think you might dig it. It's not crazy complex, but I think what it's going after is pretty well done. So for that, I will recommend it. for the double IPA fans, I'll recommend it for that. Next category is value for price, and I was given this as a gift. It came in a 12-pack, and there is the 3 different Problem IPA varieties. All 3 definitely have very similar flavor palette or patterns going on. So, if you like one, you'll at least get into the flavor of the others. It's just kind of like which one's stronger, which one's lighter. But price-wise, it's not a crazy price for, especially a double IPA. You can go to some other breweries and it'll be just like astronomically out of this world, and it's just like, I don't want to pay that much. Like if I was to compare this with a Ballast Point, those can get a little pricey for some of those things. I believe this is a little less expensive. I'm not necessarily comparing it to some of the Ballast Point beers. I think Ballast Point has been doing some pretty nice IPAs over there. But price-wise, I think it's a little less. So keep that in mind. So I will recommend it for price. I think it's fair. Next category is distinction. And there's nothing really crazily setting it apart. It's going to be very similar to a lot of the other kind of double IPAs. It is more grapefruity, but it's not like a juicy grapefruit. If you like that kind of juiciness, it's very much more confined to a concentrated, like bitter grapefruit. So I guess it just depends on how you like that fruity aspect to it. But other than that, there's really not a ton that's separating itself. I think it's well enough done, which I guess can already elevate itself higher than a lot of the other IPA-based beers out there, because there's a lot of them that just it's not good. So it's pretty well done, but it doesn't really set itself apart all that much. So I'm not going to recommend it on distinction. It is what it is. It's well done, but it's nothing. It's not rewriting the book at all on double IPAs. Next category is drinkability, and for me, it's not something that I would necessarily be drawn to. It is 8.5%, but I feel like I could go with a different 8.5% beer that I personally would enjoy more and would be able to drink easier. This one is I don't know. If you're a double IPA fan, you'll have no problem. It'll be fine. If you're not, it's probably not your cup of tea. And for me, drinkability is kind of like, it drinks okay. These others that I think I'd rather go for the alcohol percentage. So I'm gonna give it a half. It's like, it's fine, but I'd rather look for something else. And last category is would I buy it again? And again, I'm just not a double IPA fan. Like it's not really it's not what I look for in a beer. It's not my thing. So I don't go out of my way to get these kinds of beers. I like a good IPA, but it gets to a point where it's just too bitter, too whatever, and I usually just don't go that route. And so I personally won't be buying it again. But that's just me, so I will not be buying it again. But anyways, that is my review of Perrin Brewing Company's Lotsa Problems Double IPA Imperial India Pale Ale. Have you had this before? What do you think? Do you have a favorite double IPA? Do you have one that you would recommend to somebody that isn't necessarily a huge fan that you think they might like? I might try to check it out, because I'm not saying I just don't like them at all. Just I guess it's hit and miss with me. But yeah, let me know in the comments if you do. I'll see if I can track it down. But anyways, like, subscribe to all the good stuff. And so for myself and for Perrin Brewing Company's Lotsa Problems IPA, or Double IPA, take it easy.